do to you? I can't even... This game was such a travesty that people would rather forget that it existed because of what it did to one of gaming's most iconic characters.
If you want to learn how to effectively kill off a franchise, look no further. This is the equivalent of dropping your toothbrush in a backed up toilet after a night of binge eating bad burritos. No amount of holy water and exorcism will ever clean that sin. While Bubsy 3D was the last of its series, the franchise was never good. The sole purpose of the games was to capitalize on the success of Sonic. Even the creator of Bubsy, Michael Berlin, said that he could make a game just like it.
Bubsy was a failure when it stepped out the door. Granted, the first game wasn't the worst, but it just went downhill from there. Earthworm Jim, on the other hand, was a success.
The toy maker Playmates found success with the license of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then wanted a franchise of their own. They were inspired by Sonic the Hedgehog's success and decided to start a franchise off as a video game, a rare move at the time. Doug Tennepool drew up a sketch of a cartoon worm, then Shiny Entertainment bought the rights of Earthworm Jim from him. While inspired by Sonic's success, Earthworm Jim is not a clone. Yes, it was a 2D platformer, but it was also a run-and-gun type of game.
Earthworm Jim was one of the few video game characters to be a critical success, just as successful as Mario and Sonic. Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
What made Earthworm Jim a success was its fluid cartoon-like animations, its weird, absurd, and wacky characters, and very surreal and crazy level design. Overall, it was a very original game. Earthworm Jim 3D was the last game that would ever be made. I don't consider remakes to be new games, so Earthworm Jim HD doesn't count. You may wonder what happened. Well, Shiny Entertainment was bought out by Interplay, and the develop team was put on other projects, putting Earthworm Jim 3D on hold for 3 years, which pretty much gave it the status of vaporware. Dave Perry, the original series designer, had sold the rights to the series, and while he and Tennepool were brought in as consultants, they were dismissed early in the development cycle.
Legally, they couldn't do anything to stop Interplay because they sold off the rights, which I think is a foolish thing to do, because it's better to let a series fade away on a good note than let it fail with a bang.
You have to wonder if it was foolish to sell off the rights. In cases like Duke Nukem, it was wise as George Broussard was screwing up the development of the game. But there really was no issues during development that would have caused this game to be bad, at least none that have been documented. The game was largely based on the TV show, even using voice actors from it. But the show was already off the air long before the game's release, so any connection to it was lost.
This is another one of those games that promised so much but didn't deliver. And if you're not going to deliver what you promised, don't put it on the back of the box.
Yeah, some of the beta screens made it into the finalized promotional work for the game, like Evil the Cat being the boss of the fear level, levels not in the game, the pocket rocket mechanic that's missing, and unused graphics. It's just like what happened to Big Rigs or the War Z, things that were advertised but were not in the final product.
I question if Sergei Titov, the creator of Big Rigs and the War Z, had a hand in this because it sounds like his MO.
This is the PC version and the controls for it are bad. It registers multiple buttons as the same one. I've also played the N64 version too, and while the controller layout isn't bad, there's little difference between the two, and the PC version is marginally worse and is the one that I own. The graphics are alright for an N64 game, but the PC version could be better, and the frame rate on the PC is terrible. And the PC version doesn't play the music either, so I hope you like Silence. And ironically, there's music on the disc too, it just doesn't play it.
I used to wonder what Banjo-Kazooie would be like if it had more action. I used to. Not anymore. It's not what I expected. Not by a long shot.
All you do is go around, shoot the few enemies that hop about, and collect marbles while occasionally grabbing golden cow udders. Sound familiar? It's just like Banjo-Kazooie. The golden udders will unlock new worlds and the marbles will unlock levels in those worlds. And doing certain tasks for NPC characters will reward you with a golden udder, or you can just find them hidden in the levels. I can't believe that Earthworm Jim has been reduced to a Banjo-Kazooie clone. Nothing could fix this mess.
Damn it, Jim! I'm a game reviewer, not a doctor!
The story of the game is that Jim is in a coma and his superego is sent as a countermeasure to fix his mind. Traveling from memory, a world based on a war between chickens and cows on a farm, happiness, which is based around food, fear, a world of zombies and disco, and fantasy, which is based in the Wild West. He faces the memories of his past foes as bosses, except for Fatty Roswell, who is a newcomer to the series. Jim's superego needs to collect his marbles so he can recover from his coma and must battle Earthworm Kim, Earthworm Jim's feminine side.
Well, it sounds like it's keeping that wacky Earthworm Jim style, It's really not. It's more like Banjo-Kazooie with an Earthworm Jim paint job.
The whole appeal of Earthworm Jim is the over-the-top insanity of the level design, crazy characters, silly game mechanics, and absurd humor. None of that is in here, and if it is, it's a shell of its former self. Even the dialogue between the characters is forced. It's mainly just bad and lame puns. Yeah, the series is known for some puns, but it takes those puns beyond the next level and just to the absurd, making even the worst of puns funny.
So they cloned Banjo-Kazooie and stripped Jim of all that wacky humor. If you thought they'd stop there, you're wrong.
The camera is absolutely terrible. In fact, it's game-breaking. It gets stuck around corners constantly. You're told that you can hold a button to make the camera follow you. There's two problems with that. The game likes to register a lot of buttons as the same, so your button input is limited. Using that camera follow button may take away from another button that you need. The other problem is that the camera should automatically follow behind you. There is no reason to hold a button to make it follow you.
When I reviewed Banjo-Kazooie, I'd criticized similar camera controls. Then someone had told me that if I hold down a certain button, it fixes that. It's astounding that someone would think that's a good rebuttal because it only reinforces my criticism of bad camera controls.
The camera is the worst aspect of this game, like it single-handedly wants to destroy it. The bosses are terrible and lazy. All you do is ride a pig, collect marbles, and fire missiles to make the boss drop the marbles they have so you can collect them. First one to 100 marbles wins. The controls for the pork boarding are horrible. They are very sloppy and turning is near impossible. The boss can fire missiles and they home in on you with perfect accuracy, so you have to jump over them, and the way the camera is positioned, it's hard to tell how close they are to you.
And of course your missiles have no accuracy at all. Why would they? If they had the same accuracy as the bosses, it'd be somewhat decent, but that obviously wasn't their goal here.
Every single boss fight is like this and it can take forever. It can literally take hours due to the bad controls and camera. They're near unbeatable. Oddly, Jim will make the sounds he makes when he gets hurt when he collects marbles, which will increase his health by 1%. Also, the atoms that replenish 5% only appear from defeated enemies in crates, and they slowly float towards you, so you have to stop and wait for them to come to you. Running towards them doesn't really work as they can pass through you.
So what have we learned here today? Well, we've learned that even the mighty can fall after just one bad game. He's dead, Jim.
The only thing worse than getting the Bubsy 3D rating is actually being Bubsy 3D. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because those are much cheaper than the therapy required to recover from playing such a bad game. And be sure to share this video with your friends. I'm sure they'll enjoy the torture that I put myself through. And don't forget to do the same for my other videos as well.